Have you ever recorded a video for your students only to be disappointed by how boring you look in the playback? You are not alone. Hi, I'm Matt, and this is Presenting for Camera Teaching and Learning Edition. This session is about taking the room skills that you already have and modifying them so that you are equally engaging in front of the camera. Why? Because the camera doesn't deliver the full you to your viewer. It takes your energy, your passion, and tosses half of it away. It's not your fault. It's just that being compressed into a small rectangle is something that comes with a cost. So, now that we know that only half of us gets through, how do we counter that? Well, we give the camera twice the energy, the passion that we would usually give the room. I call this U times 2, and I'll warn you in advance, the first time you implement U times 2, you'll feel pretty silly. But when you see the playback, it'll all be worth it, and your students will thank you. Okay, so how do you apply U times 2 in practice? I've boiled it down to 4 basic techniques that all coincidentally start with the letter P. First is projection. Try speaking a little louder than you would to a friend face to face. Imagine you're speaking to a meeting and you've probably got the right volume. Not only will you get a better sound recording, you'll also subconsciously magnify your body language. The next 2 are twins, pitch and pace. They're important, especially when reading from a teleprompter. And they are the reason that presentations that are prompted or read from a card can look so awful. The trick is not to let your pitch fall into a monotonic tone and not let your reading pace fall into a metronomic rhythm. Respect punctuation. Try to achieve a melodic pitch variation while varying your pace with pauses, slow impact statements, or faster anecdotes. The goal of mastering pitch and pace is to look like you're not reading at all. Lastly, we have performance. This is simply what your body is doing while you speak. Now, in most studio situations, you'll want to stay fairly locked in from the waist down. But from the waist up, we need to animate. Let's start at the feet and work our way up. In order to lock in your lower half, you might want to use one of our tried and true stances. All of these are simply designed to stop you from moving your feet while speaking. First, we have ballerina, where the feet make the shape of a T. Next, fencing. Last, tunnel ball, which is particularly popular with very tall people and is a comfortable stance for a long period as it requires little balance. Next, hands. Try to bring the hands up to your torso, taking care not to join them. And as you begin to speak, allow the hands to join in. Don't feel like you have to remember special gestures or moves. Just let the hands flow, and let that flow start to involve your arms, shoulders, and neck, until your whole upper body is telling the story with your words. So, there you go. It's as easy as that. Now, let's take a moment to look at a before and after example. Imagine your household generates 10 kilograms of garbage every week. The government decides to introduce a waste levy, and now you have to pay $10 for each kilogram of waste. That's $100 per week. What will your response be? Well, now that every kilogram of garbage is costing your household money, it's in your best interest to avoid that cost by reducing the amount of waste you generate. In light of this new policy, adopting environmentally sustainable practices such as recycling is now beneficial to your household. Imagine your household generates 10 kilograms of garbage every week. The government decides to introduce a waste levy, and now you have to pay $10 for each kilogram of waste. That's $100 per week. What would your response be? Well, now that every kilogram of garbage is costing your household money, it's in your best interest to avoid that cost by reducing the amount of waste you generate. In light of this new policy, adopting environmentally sustainable practices such as recycling is now beneficial to your household.